A Quality of Mercy, The Mirror and the Rifle. Portrait of a Jungle in August 1945. Philippine Islands. The last grimy pages of a dirty, torn book of war. Soldiers with dulled and tired eyes wait out the clock. One young lieutenant arrives late to a nightmare almost finished. He brings not peace, but fresh orders. His name is Lieutenant Katell. Katell orders an assault on a cave of sick and wounded Japanese soldiers. To him, the label enemy is sufficient cause. Sergeant Casarano, worn thin by years of killing, argues to wait and bypass. Katell doubles down on the doctrine of separation. You kill until you are ordered to stop killing. The platoon prepares to move, and then the mirror turns. Katell becomes Yamuri, a Japanese lieutenant staring at a cave of wounded Americans. The rifle that once pointed outward is now pressed against the illusion of his own chest. When Katell becomes Yamuri, the mirror turns and the gun in his hand becomes a gun pointed at him. Suddenly the righteous logic collapses. The Japanese captain voices the ego without disguise. Bypass is mocked as fever. Compassion is treated as cowardice. He states the line that strips the mask from war's face. If when we enter the cave and they are lying on the ground, I can assure you, I will have no more compunction about making them a head shorter than I would stepping on that anthill. That is the exact grammar of annihilation. Reduce a man to an anthill, then step without compunction. The captain continues the doctrine to its end. First day of the war, last day of the war, we'll destroy them. Katell hears his own creed reflected back and finally recognizes madness as madness. War exposes itself as nothing more than a mind at war with itself. Projection leaves the muzzle and circles back to the source. Uniforms change, roles flip, names switch, but the engine remains the same sentence. They are the enemy. A Course in Miracles teaches that ideas never leave their source. Attack launched outward is always fear preserved within. Grievance sent to them is pain addressed to me. This is why the loop repeats. Inside the fever, the truth becomes audible. The face across the cave is one's own. The captain calls it war, but the mind recognizes self-attack. Back in August 1945, the radio cracks with history. An atomic bomb has been dropped. Orders arrive to fall back and wait. Cheering rises, but the interior war does not obey exterior orders. Casarano delivers the bleak forecast in one dry line. There'll be other caves, other wars, other human beings you can knock off. Katell answers with a sentence that sounds like a prayer. I hope not. God help us, I hope not. Shakespeare enters through Serling's closing door. The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It blesseth him that gives and him that takes. Mercy is indivisible because giver and taker are the same. The rain wets both at once or not at all. True mercy is not sentimental softness. It is epistemic correction. It collapses the lie of the separate enemy and ends the logic that demanded annihilation. It does not justify the past. It dissolves the premise that made the past inevitable. A Course in Miracles teaches that forgiveness undoes the belief that someone outside must pay for what the mind imagines. It looks at the cave and recognizes a stage set. It looks at the captain and hears an echo. It looks at the anthill sentence and refuses to step. Katell's fever vision is the instruction every soldier secretly wants. Not how to better destroy the enemy, but how to stop destroying oneself in the name of an enemy that does not exist. The props are familiar. Badges, helmets, binoculars, radio calls, maps with arrows. They are tools the ego uses to manufacture inevitability. But inevitability is only a costume the mind can hang back in the dark. The decision sits before the trigger, not behind it. Mercy is the decision to end the mirror killing. to refuse to step on men as if they were ants, to see through the label enemy before it becomes a sentence of death, to stop the sentence that makes heads a head shorter. War ends first where it began, in the thought that invented two where there is only one. And so the Twilight Zone closes the circle where it always does. A lieutenant learns that the cave he wanted to clear was the cave within. He was not rescuing his men from them. He was being invited to rescue his mind from itself. Rod Serling, curtain half drawn, voice like a verdict and a benediction. A battlefield is a mirror that kills until a man recognizes his own face. End this war where it began, in the mind that made an enemy out of its reflection. And let the gentle rain fall on both giver and taker, because they were never two.